our PPTs, presentation, everything that is on your LMS that I would expect you guys to go through by yourself. I will not be going through any of the slides, any of the presentations within these sessions. Uh, I don't know how many of you remember in your school days when you were in class 9th, 10th, you had your physics, chemistry classes. 4 days we used to do our theory and 1 day of practical. So pretty much similar thing that we'll be following over here. In class, we'll be doing 1 day of theory and then I'll be giving you 5 days of practicals. In that you'll have to go through the slides by yourself, you'll have to go and create the blog, you'll have to go and implement analytics, you'll have to work on the case studies and all these kind of things. So the way we have designed this course is that it's going to be little tiring. It's going to be it's going to ask you to invest a lot of effort. You would have to spend at least 10 hours a week other than the class to go ahead and understand all the concepts. So we'll be starting from web analytics, and by the end of our session 4, we'll be doing data analytics. We'll be also going ahead and talking about linear regression, which is more like an artificial intelligence machine learning technique. So we'll be going through this whole curve. So I would need your help to go ahead and pace up yourself. I would need your help to go ahead and do all the homework assignments by yourself. Okay? Any questions by now? All right, great. So before we go ahead and proceed any further, can you guys let me know a bit about yourself and what you understand by the term web analytics? Analysis of parameters that increase traffic. Okay. Aditya, thanks. Yeah, Vinash. And a bit of introduction about yourself as well, Aditya. Maybe a one line of introduction about you, where you're coming from, what's your experience like, and what do you expect web analytics is going to be like? What do you understand by the term web analytics? Wow, this is very sophisticated definition, Priyanka. Measurement, collection, analysis, and reporting of web data. Fantastic. Discover high value audience and power customer intelligence for your business. Super. Web analysis analytics is like an engine which actively map each user's activities and accordingly prompts companies to design their go-to-market plan or resell. This is fantastic, guys. Sergeant sales professional want to make a career in digital marketing, measurement and analysis of traffic and how to convert that data. Preeti Desai Preeti Desai working as HR professional in an IT startup. According to me, web analytics is analyzing the data and interpreting result and reporting. Great, Preeti. But Preeti, my follow-up question to you is, from HR to digital marketing, how come this switch? Marketing as well. Wow, this is what startup is all about. An HR professional is also handling marketing. Fantastic, Preeti. Arindam Das Gupta, currently working with HDFC Ergo. Great. General Insurance as a vice president. Super, Arindam. Uh, want to move towards marketing and brand and wish to enhance skills in digital space. Again, Arindam, the same question. What do you understand by the term web analytics? Aditya Jaishankar, South Planning Head, McCann. Okay. Analysis and reporting of data that enables you to have a successful digital strategy. In simple words for me. Great, Aditya. Thank you so much. Sumedha from HCL. Great. Web analytics, analysis of available data for further forming strategy to gain more business. Super. Analysis of the business movement in the web. Great. So you guys pretty much have a good hang of web analytics. You understand what analytics is, and you are just going ahead and putting this concept of analysis into the web world. That is whole web analytics all about. Abhishek Srivastav, customer service professional. Web analytics is a method, process, and science to evaluate, assess, and optimize the performance of predefined parameters. Wow. So it has to be predefined, Abhishek, right? This is Faraz working as marketing professional in the United States. Great. What time is it over there, brother? And well, to give you a small introduction about myself, my name is Kunal Mehta, of course. Pretty much like every Indian guy, I started my career. I'm computer engineer plus MBA in marketing. That is the minimum eligibility criteria for getting married. So this is what I did. I don't know whether I did it to get married or whether I did all this education to get a good career for myself. So started my career as a web developer in Java in 2004, and then worked to go ahead and create mobile applications, web applications, and all that. And then one fine day realized that that the conversion rate of my web applications is not really as high as it should be. My manager asked me to go ahead and look into weblogs, and what weblogs are, we will go ahead and talk in a little while. So while going through the weblogs, I finally understood how customers actually move from one page to the other, from one section to the other. And their movement can be very unpredictable. Like we always expect them to move from page 1 to page 2 to page 3, 4, 5, 6. Whereas they can actually go into any order. They can go from page 1 to page 6 and then come back to page 3 and then page 4 and then page 2. So that was the very first time that I was introduced to the topic of analytics. Did that for a while and understood that this whole concept of analytics, marketing analytics, is more to do with marketing, though it might appear that it is very tech oriented. So did my MBA in marketing from IIM Lucknow, came back into this field, and since then I have been in this field, worked with organizations like Dell Computers, Adobe Systems, eBay, and currently working with Sapient. Have had a lot of fun. So this is something I really like, and whatever I have learned last 10 years of my career, I will try to go ahead and impart the best practices in next 4 sessions. Of course, it's not going to be easy, but we have done it in the past. I know that it can be done if everyone goes ahead and gives a little bit of push. So this is what we'll be trying to do. This Aniket from Bangalore, great. Working with Capgemini, I have 8 years experience in pre-sales and bid management. Web analytics is the analysis and reporting of data to optimize usage of web pages. Great. Working as a finance executive in Max Life, Ayushman. Great. Siddharth Khanna, business marketing with HCL Technologies. We have somebody else from HCL as well, I believe. Handling the go-to market strategies and end-to-end campaign management, execution for the digital and analytics practice. Web analytics helps to fine-tune the marketing strategies by understanding the trends in the digital avenue. Great. Thank you so much, Siddharth. So, okay, let me go ahead and simplify the question. So I have seen a lot of definitions. You guys are talking about analysis, reporting, understanding, go-to strategies, how to go ahead and create the marketing strategies and all that. Who is an analyst, you think? Who is an analyst? Who do you think is an analyst? We're a person who analyzes trends. We, an individual who performs various simulations. Great, Bhavya. Absolutely fantastic answer, Sumedha. Yes, we all are analysts, right? The best analysts that I ever come across are my wife and my mother. The reason is that they know exactly what to say, when to say, and how to go ahead and say it. Like about me, whenever I go in front of my in-laws, it's been 5 years that I've been married. I have 2 kids. I still go all dumb. I just don't know what to say. And after every 15 minutes, me and my father-in-law are like, "Aur batao beta, how's life? How everything is going along?" So, but they never have this kind of a problem, right? Why? Because they always go ahead and understand what has happened in the past, how people have reacted in the past. They always refer to their historical data. And then on the basis of that, they go ahead and take their decisions about what to say, how to say. Whenever we are actually going ahead and buying a gift for our friends, right? This is what we do. We try to go ahead and refer to our historical conversations with them about what they like, what kind of color, what shirt they like, what color of shirt they like, and then you try to go ahead and pick a similar kind of a thing for them, for our friends, for our spouse, and all these things, right? Guys, can you hear me? Great. So all of us are in a way analysts, right? All of us do go ahead and analyze data. So why do we need all these tools like Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics? You must have heard about SAS, big data, R, and all these kind of things, right? Why do we need all these kind of tools? So Ayushman, my question is, if all of us are analysts, if all of us can go ahead and do all kinds of analysis in our head, why do we need all these tools like Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, SAS, Big Data, R, and all these kind of things? To get past information, okay? To measure the performance. Tools help to minimize human error. Also works get done fast, okay? Absolutely right, Ayushman. Think about the quantum of data, guys. Think about the quantum of data. When was the last time that you guys went to your bank? You guys remember? When did you go to your bank last time? Your bank branch. When did you walk into your bank branch? I don't even remember when was the last time when I went to my bank. Probably during demonetization time. Oh, pretty good, huh? So you are the one with black money. No, I'm just messing around, Preeti. No, I did not go to deposit cash. I just went to get cash. whatever little I had. So of course I'm a trainer, you can guess. Uh, so in a way, we all of our transactions are actually online, on mobile application, on digital platforms. Now think about it. Even though our trips to our banks have decreased, our transactions have actually increased, right? I don't know how many of you remember the day when to know the balance in your account, you had to go ahead and stand in a queue. If you wanted to go ahead and get entries on your passbook, you had to go ahead and leave your passbook in the bank overnight. You actually had to go ahead and suffer to get any kind of a banking transaction completed. There was like whole kind of bureaucracy and everything going on. But nowadays we don't have to. In fact, if I have to go for shopping, first of all, what I do is I quickly go and check my account balance. How much money do I have in my bank? On the basis of that, I will go to a place. On the basis of that, I'll decide what do I want to go ahead and buy. After shopping, I will again go ahead and check my account balance to ensure that I have spent only expected amount, right? Whenever I go ahead and swipe my card in the ATM machine, whenever I go ahead and swipe my card in the any credit card machine, there is always a banking transaction which is going on. So my transactions have increased, but my trips to banks have decreased. And every time I go ahead and click on the website, every time I go ahead and have any kind of interaction with my bank on digital medium, it creates data in the backend. Just to give you a very small example. So how many of you know about the store called Target? Target is a store which is just like Big Bazaar in India. It's a competitor to Walmart in US. It's a huge store, so you get pretty much everything from grocery to clothes to everything over there. Okay. So one day, a 50-year-old person came to the store, Target, shouting at the top of his lungs, complaining and demanding to see the manager over there. He was really, really pissed off. So when the manager came in and he asked what exactly happened, so this guy told him that he has a 15-year-old daughter and Target has started sending baby coupon and baby diaper booklets to him, like coupons or discounts on baby diapers, discounts on uh, baby food items and all these kind of things on prams. So Target is trying to corrupt his 15-year-old daughter. They shouldn't have been sending these kind of coupons to her. So Target got that manager got really worried what exactly had happened, because this he's right and he had all the right to go ahead and sue them. So he went back to his marketing team to understand what exactly happened, and his marketing team told him that they are having an algorithm, a program running in the background. What it does is whenever whatever people are buying, it goes ahead and scans that, and at the back end there is an algorithm, a pregnancy propensity algorithm. What it does is that on the basis of what people are buying, what people are scanning, it creates a probability of that person being pregnant. And as it turned out, this 15-year-old girl showcased a probability of 80% of being pregnant. That's why they sent this booklet to her, these coupons to her. And as it turned out, this girl was actually pregnant. So even before her father came to know about it, Target came to know about it just because of her shopping pattern. Does it make sense to all? Does it give you an idea about the power of data analytics? So what if I actually go ahead and tell you that, do you guys know what you're going to do tomorrow? What's your plan for tomorrow? What if I tell you that Google has an idea about what you're going to do tomorrow? Would you believe me? They already know what kind of movies you like to see. They already know what time you go to your office. They already know what time you come back to your home. They already know about all these things. How? Because they have analyzed all that data. What time you go ahead and search for a route when you are coming back from office? What time you go out on weekends? Where do you go to? What do you search for on Google? So all these things create absolutely right patterns, and they try to go and understand that pattern and then go ahead and recommend things to you. For example, when I go to YouTube, my YouTube homepage would look very different from your YouTube homepage. Have you ever noticed it? Everyone's YouTube homepage is extremely different. So this is what my YouTube homepage actually looks like. And I bet that your homepage would look much different than this, right? Why? Because this is curated specifically on the basis of what I like to see, what I like to watch. And on the basis of that, they have actually put all these recommendations on my homepage. Right? So data analytics is something that we are using in everyday world right now. We are all trying to go ahead and generate the data and try to analyze that data. And that quantity of that data is just so huge that we cannot go ahead and do analysis in our head anymore. So we need all these sophisticated tools. Why am I telling you all these things is because marketing team has a very bad habit of not trusting their data. For example, finance team, they trust data blindly. Have you ever come across all these advertisement that you can get 25 lakh rupees of personal loan within 10 minutes? Get your 20 lakh rupees of personal loan approved within 1 minute, within 2 minutes, and all these kind of things. Have you ever come across these advertisement from ICICI or HDFC? Right? And think about it, that personal loan is actually an unsecured loan. You don't really give anything as a mortgage when you talk about personal loan, right? All you give is just a salary slip. If you see their form, all they ask you is, what's your age, how long you have been working in the present organization, what's your current salary, how many liabilities you are having, and all these kind of things. And on the basis of that, they will tell you whether they will approve you for the loan or not. Right? Why? Because there is again an equation which is running in the background, what we call as a model. It's just a mathematical equation in the background. And this mathematical equation is having all kinds of variables like age, salary, number of years working in the same organization, switches, total experience, and all these kind of things. And on the basis of this equation, they come up with a number, with a score. If your score is high enough, they will give you the loan. If your score is low, they won't give you the loan. Simple as that. So finance team completely relies upon data to go ahead and take a decision as big as giving a 25 lakh rupees of unsecured loan just on the basis of salary slip. Nothing else. Yes, CIBIL is nothing but that kind of a score only, right? Whereas marketing team doesn't trust their data at all. Marketing teams try to go ahead and go by their hunch. Oh yeah, this advertisement is looking fine to me, or this campaign sounds good to me. Just on the basis of their own hunch, they try to go and take their decision. And when they say they are trying to go and take a decision on their hunch, in fact, again, they are doing analysis only, but in their head. They are trying to go reflect on their past experiences, on historical data, and then come up with their own insights. But the fact of the matter is that data is just so huge that we cannot go ahead and take insights just from our head. Make sense to all? Let me go ahead and give you a very small example of what we are going to do, okay? And start our data analytics case study number 1. Very small case study, but at least this would give you a flavor of what we are going to do. Just a minute for the site to load. So this is my analytics account. I will give you all access to this account so that you can play around with the data. I hope all of you can see a report on the screen. Great. Give me just a minute and I will go and put up the question over there. Okay, so I hope all of you can see a question on your screen as well. These are all browsers, Ayushman. Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, and all these things are browsers. Can you all see a question on my screen right now? No worries. Can you all see a question over here, guys? Great. So first of all, go through the question and let me know once you have read and understood the business problem. Let me know once you have read this question, guys. Tell me, what does it mean? What is the business problem over here? Okay. Absolutely right, Ayushman. Revenue growth versus tech implementation. Absolutely right, Avinash. We don't know what would be the impact. Absolutely. Can you go ahead and answer your CEO's question right now? Absolutely super. So let's go ahead and look into the data which can help you to answer this question. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and look into our data. Absolutely, Ayushman. I'm not disputing any of your assumptions, any of your questions. Now, if you see this is the data that you are looking at, this is the data of your website. So what you see goal value is the revenue that I have. So actually this data is coming from my own website. So I have a website called webandsocialmedia.blogspot.com. I will go ahead and give you the link of that as well. So this data is generated from there. Okay. So what you see is goal value is actually my revenue. But don't worry about it. This is not the money that I'm making from my blog. Had it been the case, I wouldn't have been taking classes on Saturdays and Sundays. So as you can see, I have made $200,000, okay, in quotes of revenue from my blog, and these are the distribution of my revenue, my users, my sessions from different browsers. All this data can actually help you to go ahead and take a decision on the question of your CTO. Does it make sense? So now once you have this data in your hand, tell me how you're going to approach this problem. Now what do you think? Okay, you would agree to your CTO's plan. Okay, there you are having it, Avinash. Tell me, what do you think? All the parameters are over here, Sumita. Tell me. Go with CTO. Okay. Sajan, Rohit, Pankaj, Arindam, Abhishek, what do you guys think? Manish, Himanshu, Bhavya, can go with CTO. Okay. You know, there was a teacher in my school. I used to hate her. This is what she used to do. Whenever we used to go ahead and read from our chapter from our chemistry book, she would just point out to me from anywhere in the class, Kunal Mehta, tell me which paragraph are we reading? And I used to fumble up and I used to hate her a lot. I'm sorry that I have become the same person and I'm going ahead and pointing you guys. You don't have to answer if you don't have an answer. If you don't want to answer, that's absolutely fine. But I'm just taking your name just to ensure that you guys are understanding the concepts and all. So Pramod, Preeti, Priyanka, all clear? Any? What do you guys think? Shivangi, Siddharth, we can go ahead with CTO's suggestion. Great, Rohit. Great, Araf. Thanks, Abhishek. Should go with CTO. Great. So once we go with CTO, What it means is that I will go ahead and lose 3% of my revenue, right? So what you are telling me is that I should go ahead and lose 3% of my revenue? I don't know, Ayushman, you tell me. Pramod, what did you say? I'm sorry, I must have missed it. Yes, that can backfire as well. Okay, how much revenue would increase, Bhavya? I'm okay with the assumption, but there should be a logic behind that assumption. So what you're telling me right now is to go ahead and lose 3% of my revenue when my profit margin right now is 5%. I have to go back to my investors for more investment. How much would be the revenue growth from Chrome, Abhishek? How many of you have been in meetings with your CEOs, CTOs and all that? I believe that there is some vice president over here in our class. And these guys, they don't really go ahead and look into anything but numbers. Right, Avinash? So tell me, how much of revenue increase would be from Chrome? Why IE is not getting traffic and what can be done to improve that traffic instead? Okay. So I tell you how to go ahead and resolve this question. Okay. So for this kind of a question, we will go ahead and take help from our best friend. And let me go ahead and introduce you guys to your best friend called Microsoft Excel. Around almost 4% will come from Chrome. That's super, Bhavya. But I would need to know how you have arrived at this number 4%. So let me go ahead. 80% comes from Chrome. Yes, Bhavya. Great, Araf. Now you guys are actually going ahead and talking about in terms of numbers. Great. All right. So when I go ahead and say that your user experience would be great, what does it mean? How would it impact KPIs on your blog? All of you do understand the term KPI? Key performance indicators, right? So when I showed you this report, these were the KPIs. Number of sessions, number of new sessions, new users, bounce rate, and all these kind of things, right? What these things are, we will go ahead and talk about in a little more detail. But just to give you a picture that when my user experience is enhanced, people should go ahead and see more pages per session, right? The average session duration should be more. And the bounce rate should be decreased. I do not know how it will go ahead and impact the conversion right now, but at least these three things should have certain change. Bounce rate should be less. What is bounce rate? I will again go ahead and talk about in detail. But bounce rate should be less, pages per session should be more, and average session duration should be more. Is it clear to all? So for simplicity, let's say the only KPI that gets impacted is average session duration. Everything else remains the same. Can we go ahead and take this assumption? Everything else would be same, only the average session duration would be impacted. Let's say it gets impacted by 10%. Can we make this assumption? This is just a plain assumption, okay? After making the changes, there can be an increase of 10% of average session duration. Avinash, Arav, Rohit, Sajan, Shivangi, make sense to everyone? Siddharth, Sumedha, great. Now let's go back to my Excel and let's start putting numbers over here. So Chrome and IE. Number of sessions that I'm getting from Chrome 6520. Number of sessions coming from IE 195. So what we are doing is, once my user experience is better, there can be an impact on these three metrics. Bounce rate would be lesser, pages per session would be more, and average session duration would be more. I don't know about whether it will go and increase the traffic on my website or not, because increase in traffic is more to do with marketing strategies than user experience. Goal conversion rate, I want to go ahead and find out what's the impact on that, so I will go ahead and keep it as unknown. But bounce rate, pages per session, average session duration should get impacted. Does it make sense to you? So for simplicity's sake, I'm saying my average session duration would be increased by 10%. Let's go ahead and make this assumption. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and take the numbers from here and start putting in my Excel sheet. My average time on Chrome is how much? 1 minute 54 seconds. So 114 seconds in total. From IE, it's like 2 minutes 32 seconds. 152 seconds. Total time spent would be from Chrome users would be around this much, whereas from my users would be this much. The revenue that I'm getting from Chrome is around 155,050. 55050 plus from Chrome is 5850. Revenue per second that I'm getting from Chrome is around this much, whereas from IE is around this much. Alright, so why am I doing all these things is because if you see, Chrome is actually giving me pretty decent numbers. Bounce rate is pretty low for IE. Pages per session is highest for IE, and average session duration is also highest for IE. It's pretty much highest for IE, right? It's much better than Chrome. My conversion rate, if you think, is much better than Chrome as well. Chrome is having only 28.59% of conversion rate, whereas conversion rate on IE is 40%. Does it make sense to all? So there are metrics which are doing really well for IE. So IE is not like a dead rubber that I can go and just remove it. There, I am getting some substantial numbers from there. So like Pramod said, what would be better? Should I go ahead and think about increasing user experience on IE or going ahead and increasing user experience on Chrome? What should I be doing? So this is what I'm trying to go ahead and find out over here. So once I have all these numbers over here, let's say after update, what's going to happen? Again, browser session average time
total time, revenue per second, revenue. Okay. The impact is of 10%. Okay. So browser Chrome, and this is IE. Session, everything else would remain the same. Only thing that would change is my average session duration. From IE, I will get nothing because now IE is not supported at all. So I will not get any traffic from IE, any revenue from IE. Everything else in Chrome remains the same except the average session duration. So average time right now is, let's say, 114 plus 114.2.1. So this becomes my new average time after 10% of increment. Does it make sense to all? My total time would be this much. My revenue per second I have already calculated earlier, so I will just go ahead and take it from there. Whereas my new revenue would become this much. Total is, now let's go ahead and take out the increment. This minus. If I go ahead and talk about gain percent, this by in percentage. Does it make sense to all what we have done? So if we go ahead and put this update and we can get 10% of more average session time, I can actually go ahead and get 6% of more revenue than I would get right now. Now can you go ahead and take this number to your CEO? Absolutely, Ayushman. I'm not saying that it will go ahead and increase, but I'm saying that this is much better way to go ahead and have a conversation with your CEO and CTO than doing it on your hunch. And also, Ayushman, when I say my user experience is good, it means that my video loading time and all these things are actually lesser. Right? Now, if my CTO tells me that in fact people will spend 20% more time, if that's going to happen, my revenue can actually increase by 16%. If my CTO tells me, oh, you know what, it might not impact my average session duration by so much, maybe people will go and spend 5% more time. In that case, I'll be having my gain percent just 1%, and I'll say, you know what, it's not really worth it. Right? Right, everyone? At this point of time, I can say it's not worth it because 5% of more average session duration is just giving me 1% of more revenue, and it's too big of a risk to go and lose all my IE traffic. Whereas if the average session duration is increased by 10%, I can actually go ahead and get 6% more revenue. So Ayushman, over here, if my CTO tells me, you know what, people might spend just 5% more time on the website, not 10%, but just 5%. So I'll say, okay, if people spend 5% more time on my website, then my increased revenue would be just 1%. At 1%, it's not worth it to take a risk because I'm losing all my IE customers. So I would not go ahead and put the update. Whereas if they can increase the average session duration by 10%, by 15%, that gives me enough of a room to go ahead and take that risk. Does it make sense to all? Now my question to you is, as an analyst, can you not go ahead and look into these reports, come up with these kind of scenarios, and then rather than your CTO coming to you, you can go ahead and take it to your CTO. You know what? If we can actually go ahead and give fantastic user experience to our Chrome users, this is the kind of impact that we can see in next 6 months. Can you do that? This is exactly what analytics is all about. Does it make sense to everyone? Any question over here, guys? Interesting, not interesting, good, not good, clear, not clear? Great. So similarly, let me go ahead and give you another question, okay? Again, let me go ahead and show you a report. Let's see what you think about it, okay? Absolutely right, Bhavya. This is an assumption. And I will tell you in next few classes how we go ahead and implement this. How many of you have heard about A/B testing? So, Sajan, what we do is we try to go ahead and create different experiences of the same platform. We try to go ahead and create different experiences of the same campaign, and we test it, which campaign or which experience has done better. And then when we go ahead and get the response, and then we go ahead and roll out the successful test on everyone else. For example, I don't know how many of you have heard about it or read about it. Facebook always goes ahead and make their changes. Whenever they want to go ahead and make any changes in the platform, they first do it in New Zealand. Once the platform is successful over there, then they go ahead and replicate it everywhere else on the globe. Have you ever heard about it? So this is what they do. Because New Zealand is exact replica of what the kind of market that they want to go ahead and target. It is having substantial number of indigenous population. It is having substantial number of Indian population. It is having substantial number of Chinese population. Its per capita income is pretty high. And if something goes wrong in New Zealand does not really impact the whole world. Right? If you actually go ahead and do a test in US, and if that fails, United States media is very, very strong. So if your campaign actually fails in New Zealand, in United States, in US, it is going to impact the whole world. Europe is completely interconnected. If something goes wrong in India, you are impacting your 1.2 billion people. But New Zealand, if your experience was not that good in New Zealand, it is not going to impact the whole world. The population is a unique mix. There are a lot of people are from indigenous population. There are a lot of Indians. There are a lot of Chinese, and the per capita income is very high. So the variables are perfect for them to go ahead and test. So if their test is successful in New Zealand, they go ahead and launch all across the globe. If it fails in New Zealand, they don't go ahead and launch it in the globe. So this is how we can go ahead and take this forward. We can actually go ahead and decide a market. Okay, you know what? From tomorrow onwards, anyone coming from, let's say, Lucknow, only Chrome users coming from Lucknow will be able to go ahead and access my website. But everywhere else, there would be no impact. Does it make sense, Bhavya? And then I can go ahead and see how my Lucknow market is reacting. And if over there, I can actually go ahead and see my revenue percentage going up, I can go ahead and roll out my changes for all over India, else I will not. Make sense to all? Absolutely, kind of a pilot. We also call it as a soft launch. I don't know again how many of you have heard about
This is also a marketing term. We also go for a soft launch, and then once that is successful, then we go for a hard launch. All right. So like I said, let me go ahead and give you another problem. So I'm glad that you guys are actually going ahead and participating in these practical applications. Okay. So Ayushman, I'll tell you about it. Let's go ahead and discuss this question first, and then we'll talk about soft launch. Okay. So this is again a conversion on my website. So what people do is I promote a newsletter sign up on my website. So my newsletter is not free of cost. People will have to go ahead and pay a certain amount to go ahead and get the newsletter on my blog. So there is a form over there. Once people fill that, they can go ahead and subscribe for the newsletter. So as you can see, there have been 25 completions till now. I have got $4,500 from 25 signups. So which means that my newsletter is pretty expensive, right? So around more than it's around $200. So my conversion rate is really poor. If you see, just 0.27%. My abandonment rate is 99.64%. So as an analyst, can you help me identify what the problem over here is? This is a high value conversion for me. So what's the problem over here? Why my conversion is so low? Cost. Okay. So Siddharth, this is a conversion metric. These are the conversion metrics for a newsletter sign up goal on my website. So whenever people sign up for a newsletter, I send them a newsletter, but they have to pay something for that. So for 25 signups that I have had till now, I have got $4,500 of revenue from that. So my newsletter is pretty expensive. My conversion rate is really poor at 0.27%. So as an analyst, can you tell me how to go ahead and increase this conversion rate? What's the problem over here? Cost and target audience. Okay. Ayushman, Avinash, Arindam, Abhishek, what do you guys think? So many people from A. Cost, okay. Yes, reasons of abandonment needs to be checked. Absolutely right, Avinash. This report by itself cannot go ahead and give you any idea. So let me go ahead and show the same data to you, but in a different visualization, okay? Let me go ahead and do that for you. Okay. Now you see this report? The same data, but is coming through a different visualization. What do you see over here? The moment you go ahead and see this kind of a visualization, you would realize that the problem is not over here, this 0.29% of conversion rate. This is not problem. Where's the problem? Problem is right over here. Out of 6,870 sessions that came on my home page, only 38 proceeded to read article 1. Out of those 38 who proceeded to read article 1, 20 actually subscribed for my newsletter. And how many of you are from digital marketing background? Have you ever seen this 52.63% of conversion rate for anything? 52% conversion rate on digital marketing is mind-blowing. In fact, 52% conversion rate anywhere, online or offline, is absolutely fantastic. So people who read article 1, 52% of times they actually go ahead and convert. The problem is that not enough people are coming to read article 1. Does it make sense to all? Now as an analyst, you can come up with all kinds of solutions to me. You can tell me that I need to go ahead and put my article 1 more prominently on the home page. You can tell me that I need to go ahead and run campaigns for article 1, email campaigns, social media campaign, and all these kind of things. Right? Because people who are reading article 1, they are actually subscribing for my newsletter, so my content is absolutely fantastic. The problem is that not enough people are reaching article 1. Absolutely right, Siddharth. You know, 4 P's of marketing: place, product, price, promotion. Over here, the biggest problem that it seems like to me is place. Placement of article 1 on the home page. This is why only 0.55% of people are actually reading article 1. Make sense to everyone? Avinash, Arav, Aditya, Sajan, Sumedha. Great. So let's do one thing. We will take a break on this note. Let's be back in 20 minutes, and then we will go ahead and talk about the nuances of web analytics. I will go ahead and introduce you some of the technical terms within web analytics. Okay? Great. Let's be back in 20 minutes, guys. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome back. Are we all back? Great, super. Okay, so let's go ahead and start talking about the building blocks of web analytics. I hope that the why we are doing something like this is clear to all. Now let's go ahead and understand the building blocks of Google Analytics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about the background science, so that no matter what kind of a tool that you are working with, you will be able to go ahead and understand it clearly. But of course, we'll be using more of Google Analytics than anything else. Okay. So before I go ahead and tell you anything further, let me ask this question to you. How many of you remember about photons? What are photons? Remember chapter 10, class 8, physics. What are photons? I hope all of you can see my screen now. You see photons written over here? Class 8, chapter 10, physics, Lakhmeer Singh Manjeet Kaur book. Wow, quantum of electromagnetic radiation. Light, yes, light travels in the form of small energy packets called as photons, right? Remember? Travels in the form of small energy packets called as photons. So this is why light behaves both as matter and wave. It's a brilliant theory. You should read it. So similarly, information on internet travels in the form of small data packets. Information doesn't flow like a stream of data, but in packets of data. There are very small packets of data that are flown from one system to the other on internet. So these data packets have specific headers. These data packets can be imagined as, I would say, like postcard. I know nowadays nobody uses postcard, but if you remember, this is what a postcard used to look like. There is a space for stamp, there is a space for sender's address, for receiver's address, message, pin code, and all these kind of things. Can you all see it on my screen? So this is what postcard looks like. So just very similar to this, every data packet has certain headers, certain specific places to write the operating system, OS, version, browser version, language, IP, address. Yes, these are the headers. I hope all of you can hear me clearly. So these are the headers which every data packet has. Okay, I hope that will get stabilized in a little while. If it gets very bad, do let me know. If you cannot hear me at all, do let me know. So these are the kind of information that is like width of the browser, height of browser, all this kind of information is part of these data packets. So what technically happens is that when I open flipkart.com from my computer, what happens is in the background, data packets from my computer, go to flipkart.com web server. It's breaking. Let me go ahead and try to change my server. Give me just a minute. Give me just a minute, guys. I'm just changing the server right now. The width and height of the browser is like, what is the width of my browser over here that I'm using? What is the height of my browser? If I go ahead and do it something like this, again, my width and height would change, right? Sumita? So all these details are captured within these data packets. Does it make sense to all? So, see. Now, do you all understand that information on internet and travels in form of small data packets? This is clear to all? So every data packet has all these headers, right? Now, see, what is a width? Width is the breadth of this data packet, right? Now, if I go ahead and resize the window, the width has changed. Now, my height is different, width is different. Why do we need this information? Specifically nowadays, when we are actually, a lot of people are using mobile devices to go on websites. Do you do that? Do you go to website through your mobile device? It's important for organizations to know which is the maximum, which is the most used width and height that people actually use to scan their website to come on their website, so that they can optimize accordingly. If you know most of the users on your website are coming from Apple iPhone 6, you would go ahead and have your website created in that manner. Absolutely right, Siddharth. So for different mobile versions, for different websites, for different desktops, people actually go ahead and use different height and width. It helps as an organization to go ahead and understand what are the most common specifications that people use to come on their website. This is what we tried to go ahead and do with technology report. Let me just show it to you once again. You see this report, everyone? We just did a small case study on this. Details about what kind of a browser version, all these parts are coming from here, from these data packets. Make sense? And now I am able to see
which browser is most important for me, how to go ahead and improve the experience of that browser users and all these kind of things. Does it make sense to all? Great. See, what goes on is, in the background, what is going on. Whenever I open Flipkart.com from my computer, data packets from my system will go to Flipkart.com web server, right? Because information is always traveling in form of data packets. So whenever I am opening Flipkart.com, data packets from my computer are going to Flipkart.com web server. Makes sense to all? Now, what it means? It means that Flipkart.com will know about my all these details. Not clear. Give me just a minute. Hey guys, can you hear me now? Is it better? Great. Thank you so much. So what's going on is that whenever I go to Flipkart.com, Flipkart.com can go ahead and read the data packets to go ahead and know about all these things about my computer. Make sense? So Flipkart.com can go ahead and know what are the different operating systems that people use, what kind of browsers they use, what they do on my website, where are they coming from, and all these kind of things, right? But tell me something, what is the product of Flipkart? What is their core product? What is the core product? Electronic items, okay. Items, okay. E-commerce, okay. Lifestyle products. Their core product, what if I tell you that their core product is not really any item? They provide a platform, a digital marketplace, right? Their core product is a platform where buyers and sellers can come together. They are just like, I don't know how many of you have heard about this marketplace, Karol Bagh Marketplace of Delhi, or Connaught Place, or some kind of a mall. They are nothing but an electronic mall where buyers and sellers can come together, right? That's their core competency. Now think about it yourself for a minute. All of you can cook, can clean, can wash clothes, can wash dishes, can wash your car, do gardening and all that, right? But you still have help, household help. You guys have decided that rather than going ahead and cooking and cleaning on Saturdays and Sundays, you would rather go ahead and spend your time studying. You would rather go ahead and spend your time in developing expertise in your core competency area. And you have outsourced these jobs to your maids, your household help. Right, guys? You all have done that? So it's not like that we cannot do this. It's just that that is not the proper usage of our time. That is not the utilization of our time. We would rather go ahead and study something so that we can actually go ahead and utilize that knowledge into our career. So similarly, Flipkart.com's core competency is to go ahead and create a marketplace, not to analyze this data. That's not their core competency. So what they can do is they can actually go ahead and outsource this job to a tool like Google Analytics, which can collect this data and show them meaningful reports. And then Flipkart.com can go ahead and look into these reports rather than look into this data and then create the reports and then generate the insights. Does it make sense to all? So what they do is they implement Google Analytics. What happens when they implement Google Analytics? A JavaScript, absolutely right, Avinash. A JavaScript snippet, small code, is placed on each and every page that they want to track. This code creates a 1x1 pixel image on each of the page. This image is transparent, so you can't see it, and is stored on Google server. Now there are a lot of things that I have written over here, so let me go ahead and unpack it one at a time and explain it to you. So what happens is that Flipkart.com will go ahead and implement Google Analytics on their website. Now when they implement Google Analytics, what it means is that they will go ahead and place a small code on this website that creates a 1x1 pixel somewhere over here on the top right corner of the web page. Now this image is transparent, so none of us can see it. So this image is placed on this website but is stored on the Google server. Okay. First of all, let me show you the data packets. Okay. Let me just go ahead and refresh this page. Now I would want all of you to go ahead and look into the bottom part of the screen, bottom half of the screen. See, when I go ahead and refresh this page, you see all these information which is coming up over here. Do you see this? Guys, yes, no, maybe? Right? So these are the data packets. These are the data packets, Siddharth. I'll tell you about it, Bhavya. Don't worry about it. I'll show you everything. So when you go ahead and look into these data packets, see, it is going ahead and showing the kind of browser that I'm using. Priyanka, I will show you everything. Don't worry about it. Okay. On what day it was created, where it is going. All these details are exchanged with the help of these data packets. Make sense? What is my screen resolution? What is my browser width? What is my browser height? Do you all see this? All these details go within my data packets. Okay. Now, what I'm saying is that whenever I go and implement Google Analytics, it creates a 1x1 pixel image on the top right corner of the web page.
Over here an image has been placed. So this image is placed on the web page but is stored on the Google Analytics server. So now what happens is, think of this image as a cup on the tray. Okay, so suppose there is a cup placed on a tray. You pull the tray to yourself, the force will be exerted upon the cup as well, right? You put a cup on the tray and then you pull the tray. The pull force would be exerted upon the cup as well. Similarly, if you place the image on the web page, now you ask for the web page, your request will go to flipkart.com web server. Your request will also go for this GA image. Make sense? Right? Because this image is placed on the web page. So when you are pulling the web page, you are also asking for this image. Right, everyone? Now where this image is stored? Where is this image stored? Absolutely right. Google Analytics server, Google web server. So what it means is that your data packets will go to Google server, which means GA server will come to know about all these details. Make sense to everyone? And what is Google Analytics core competency? To go ahead and analyze all this data. Absolutely right, Sumedha. Right, Bhavya? They are analyzing this data. This is their core competency. So they can go ahead and do all their analysis and present it to flipkart.com. Right? So what's going on is that every time I'm opening the flipkart.com page, every time I'm going from one page to the other page, every time I'm sending the data request, the data packets to flipkart.com web server, I'm also sending my data packets to Google Analytics server, right? Does it make sense to everyone? So whenever I'm opening a page, there is a data request which is going from my system to flipkart.com web server and my system to Google Analytics web server. Clear to everyone? Himanshu, Bhavya, Avinash, Arindam, Siddharth. Bhavya, I will answer all these questions. Hold on to these questions. I will ask you for these later on, okay? So this is called as a hit or an image request. Every time my data packets are sent to GA web server, that is called as a hit or an interaction or an image request. Make sense? This is clear to everyone? Great. Now, the next building block is session. Extremely important. What is a session? Session is nothing but a collection of all image requests till the time session expires. Absolutely right, Ayushman. Okay, I'll tell you about it. Till the time session expires. So session expires under 3 conditions. Session expires under 3 conditions. "30 minutes of inactivity after midnight and when source is changed." Okay. I'll tell you about all these in detail now. Let's go ahead and understand each of these conditions in detail. Number 1, 30 minutes of inactivity. Say I go to flipkart.com page A at 1:10 p.m. Now I go to flipkart.com page B at 1:15 p.m. So how many hits are there? How many hits over here? 2 hits. Absolutely right. Twice I have sent my data packets to flipkart.com web server and Google Analytics web server, right? Over here data packets will go to flipkart.com web server and GA web server, and similarly over here as well. Right everyone? How many hits? 2. Preeti, Priyanka, Arav, Arindam, Aditya, Avinash, clear? Siddharth, Shivangi, super. Now, how many sessions? 1. Why 1 session? Because in both these data packets, the inactivity period was less than 30 minutes. The inactivity period was just 5 minutes. First at 1:10, second at 1:15. So inactivity period over here was just 5 minutes, right? Great. Now, continuing with the same example, I go to flipkart.com page C at 1:35 p.m. How many hits in total? 3. Absolutely correct. How many sessions in total? Absolutely right. 1 session. Why? Because inactivity period was still 20 minutes. Right? Now if I go to flipkart.com page D at 2 p.m. I'll tell you about it, Bhavya, don't worry about it. How many hits in total? This is the 4th hit, right? 4 hits. How many sessions? 1 session. Why? Inactivity period was still 25 minutes. Inactivity period is not more than 30 minutes, is it? The time gap is still 25 minutes. Now, what if since I was just, can you all hear me? Okay, great. Avinash, I believe it's okay. Avinash cannot hear me and I'm talking to him. What's the point? Sometimes I think that I am also having that Ishan Avasthi of Tare Zameen Pe inside me. Alright, great. So now since I was doing nothing, I was just going ahead and browsing Flipkart.com. Great, Avinash, thank you. So since I was just going ahead and browsing on Flipkart.com, I was not doing anything. I was just being lazy. So of course my wife did what any self-respecting wife would do. She asked me to go and get some vegetables, some dhania, pyaz and bhindi from outside, right? So what I did, I shut down my system at 2:01 p.m. went out and bought vegetables, came back at 2:20 p.m. opened Flipkart.com at 2:22 p.m. Now, in total, how many hits? This was the 5th hit, right, everyone? How many sessions? Fantastic, guys. 1 session. Why? Because time gap is still less than 30 minutes. Even me shutting down my system will have no impact on number of sessions if the time gap is less than 30 minutes. Does it make sense to all? At 2:25 p.m. I closed my browser. I reopened my same browser to go to Flipkart.com page A at 2:30 p.m. How many hits in total? 6. How many sessions in total? 1. Absolutely wonderful. Now I went to Flipkart.com page B at, let's say, 3:10 p.m. Now how many hits in total? In total 7th hit. This is 7th hit, right? In total 7 hits. How many sessions? 2. Absolutely wonderful. Makes sense to everyone. Does it make sense to everyone? Any question over here, guys? First rule clear after 30 minutes of inactivity. So right now we are aggregating everything, Priyanka. So in fact, if you see, it will show you, if you see in the report, sessions hits, it will show you session number 1 had 6 hits, session number 2 had 1 hit. So in total, there would be 2 sessions and 7 hits. Make sense? So in total, we are talking about in total 7 hits, 2 sessions. You can actually go ahead and break it down as well. That in session 1, 6 hits, in session 2, 1 hit. Make sense to all?
Great. Now let's go ahead and think about the other rule, the midnight rule. What does it mean? It means that I went to flipkart.com page A at 11:55 p.m. Now I went to flipkart.com page B at 12:05 p.m. Over here, how many hits in total? 2 hits. Let's say this is a different example, right? In total, 2 hits. And how many sessions? 2 sessions. Why? Because we crossed the midnight barrier. Even though the time was less than 30 minutes, we still crossed the midnight barrier. After midnight, we had this change of session. Number 3, what is the change of source? What do we mean by change of source? Now say I came to see Siddharth, every hit is a unique hit, but what we are doing is we are taking it in aggregate. I am still saying in aggregate 2 hits. These are 2 hits in aggregate, but 2 sessions. So over here, if I go ahead and see, it would be something like this. Make sense? Now, change of source. What is change of source? Now, I came to flipkart.com through timesofindia.com banner. The source over here is Times of India. Now I came to Flipkart. Let's say at 1:10 p.m. I came to Flipkart.com through email campaign at 1:15 p.m. We are not crossing the midnight. It's not yet 30 minutes of inactivity. But the source has now changed from Times of India to email. So hence there would be hits would be 2 and sessions would be 2. Does it make sense to everyone? Clear? Any question over here in these 3 ways for a session to expire? Great. If this is clear, the last part that we have to go and focus on is users. If these 3 things are clear to you, then web analytics is clear to you. Now let's go ahead and talk about users. Who are users? Users are those people who come on our digital platform. Okay. How do we identify these users on within Google Analytics? Each user is identified by a client ID. Everyone gets an ID. Say, I go to flipkart.com for the first time. So Google Analytics will run an algorithm, a series of steps. First of all, they will check if I have a client ID. Okay. Now, if I have gone to flipkart.com for the very first time, I will not be having the client ID. So they will allocate
a client ID to me, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, will store this in a cookie and put this cookie in my system. All right. When on next day I come to flipkart.com, they will again check I have a client ID. Will it be able to get the client ID this time? Avinash, Araf, no Priyanka, this ID is not generated by Flipkart. This is generated by Google. Will it get the client ID? Yes, it will get the client ID. What would be the client ID? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Because this is already stored in a cookie. So it is not in the form of cookie but stored within a cookie. I will tell you about Siddharth. Small difference, but I will tell you about it. This is clear to all? Avinash, Arav, Aditya, Abhishek, Arindam, Bhavya. Avinash, where's the doubt? Tell me. Tell me where's the doubt, guys. Platform means. What is the platform? Digital platform. Avinash, any doubt over here? Okay, digital platform means any kind of a digital platform. It can be a website. See, what is a digital platform? Website, mobile site, mobile app, ATM machines, smartphones, all these blogs, forums, all these are digital platforms, right? Through which we actually serve our customers. Any platform that is connected to internet. Make sense, Avinash? Absolutely. If they are connected to internet, then yes. The ID is stored within a cookie. Okay? So what does it mean? I'll tell you about the difference now. Let's go ahead and talk a bit about cookies. What are cookies? Cookies are nothing but small computer programs. These programs store a specific value for a certain period of time. In case of VA, it stores client ID for 2 years. Make sense to everyone? A cookie is nothing but a small computer program which stores a certain value for a specific period of time. In case of Google Analytics, it stores my client ID for 2 years. Clear to everyone? Bhavya, Himanshu, Avinash, I'm coming to that. Don't worry about it. So there are certain features of cookies. After 2 years, this will get deleted by itself. Priyanka. So cookies are always browser based and stored on local system. Now, how does it impact us? This information is very, very important for us to go and understand. Now, let's go and understand why. Now, again, coming back to my example. On next day, let's say I went to flipkart.com for the first time through Chrome of my personal laptop. GA will check if I have the client ID. Will it get the client ID? See, I'm going for the first time. So it will not get the client ID. So it will generate the client ID for me. Let's say it is 9019238. Right? Now, next day, I again use Chrome of my personal laptop to go to flipkart.com. Now again, GA will check if I have the client ID. Will it find the client ID this time? Absolutely right. Yes, it will. It would be 9019238. Now I would be able to go ahead and access, and everything would be recorded under this ID. Now, let's say my wife uses my personal laptop and goes to flipkart.com through Chrome. GA will again check if there is a client ID over there. Will it find the client ID? Absolutely right. 9019238. Because cookies are browser based, since she is using the same browser, she will get the same client ID. Does it make sense to all? Nope. Ayushman, this is a very, very important thing that you have to always keep in mind. Client IDs are generated by Google Analytics, has got nothing to do with my login on flipkart.com. Make sense to all? This is how it is, Avinash. It has got nothing to do with the users, with the usernames and the passwords and the logins that you might be having on the flipkart.com and all these kind of websites. This is how it is. Make sense? So even though there were two different people going to flipkart.com, GA will identify only one. Absolutely right, Avinash. Does this thing make sense to everyone? Preeti, Priyanka, Sajan, Aditya, clear to everyone? Now, let's say I go to flipkart.com through Chrome of my office laptop. GA will again check if I have the client ID. Would it be able to find that client ID? No. Why? Because I've changed my device. Hence, I would be getting a different client ID and would be identified as a new user. Make sense to all? Priyanka, I have missed your question. Let me go ahead and look into that. No, it does not depend upon any of these things, Avinash. Absolutely right, Bhavya. And I will come to that as well. And Priyanka, I will come to your question as well about deleting cookies. This thing clear to all? So far, so good? Now, I delete cookies from my personal laptop. I use Chrome of my personal laptop to go to flipkart.com. They will again check. I delete cookies from my laptop. Just a minute. Go to flipkart.com through Chrome of my personal laptop. Now, GA will check if I have the client ID. Would it be able to find the client ID? No, it will not. So I would be getting a new ID. Does it make sense? So now I would see how many users? 3 users. So what it means is that in Web Analytics 1 plus 1 can be 2, 1 plus 1 can be 1, and 1 plus 1 can also be equal to 3. Right? Doesn't matter. Even if we go ahead and log into Chrome, it doesn't matter. Even if we go ahead and log into any website, it doesn't matter. Absolutely right, Siddharth. Device versus user report? No, Avinash, we don't get anything like this. So what does it mean? It means that my data is never 100% accurate. And I will come back to those questions, Sajjan. Give me just a few minutes. Absolutely right, Siddharth. And I will come back to incognito mode. Give me just a few minutes. But do we all understand that my data will never be 100% accurate? Do we all agree to it? Now, how many married guys over here? And how many married women over here? So this is a question to all married women. And married guys would actually know the answer. So this is why this is not a question to married guys. So, Sajjan, do your husband let you use their cell phones and their personal laptops? I mean, not let you, but are they comfortable? So if the answer is yes, that they are okay with you using their cell phones and then their personal laptops, it just means that your husband is not loyal. It just that it just means that your husband knows how to go and use incognito mode. Right, Avinash, that's true. Yeah, then your husband is smart enough to go ahead and use incognito mode. That's what it means. There are only two kinds of guys. Those who cheat. Second, those who get caught. Right? Those who cheat and those who don't get caught. That's it. There are only two kinds of men. So, well, this is a joke,
But the fact of the matter is that our personal devices are very personal in nature. We don't really let everyone go ahead and use those devices, right? So our personal devices, we don't let a lot of people use it. And those people who use that device, for example, your wife or your kids, they belong to the same segment. Always remember this thing. And all those who are coming from marketing background, they already know about it. But for those who are not coming from marketing background, we never go ahead and target individuals. We always go ahead and target segments. For any kind of marketing strategy, our first job is to go ahead and define STP, that is segmentation, targeting, and positioning. We always target segments. We don't target users. So the whole idea is that you and your wife would invariably of the same segment. Even if your choices are different, even if like every husband you are very boring, you don't like to go ahead and try a lot of things to eat. No matter how many times do you go out to a restaurant, you will always order the same butter chicken and the same shahi paneer and the same butter naan. You and your wife are still in the same segment, right? So the idea is all your personal laptops and desktops and phones, they are only used by people who are belonging to same segment. And we are looking into the trends of segments, not trends of users. Make sense to all? So my web analytics data is always used for trend reporting, never for system of records. Clear to everyone? Any question over here? Great. So system of records is like if your CFO, your chief financial officer asks you what were the sales like in last 1 week? What is the revenue that we got in last 1 week? You will not get data from your web analytics reports. Ayushman, system of records is like database where you have accurate data. Whereas if your CMO wants to ask you, okay, what were the number of products that we sold in last 1 week? What are the different categories of products that are famous on the website? What are the different searches that people are performing on my website? These are the kind of questions that you will use web analytics to answer, because they are more to do with trends, not with accurate number. Make sense to everyone? Great. So if all this is clear to you, what we can do is we can take a small break. Once we come back in 20 minutes, I will tell you a bit more about what will happen if we delete cookies, what will happen if we go ahead and come to from a different browser and all these things. And then we will do a one small case study question to call it a day. All right? Yes, 20 minutes break. Will that be okay, Ayushman? Great, guys. Let's be back in 20. I know this must have been a little longer stretch. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, are we all back? Great, super. Let me just go ahead and share my screen now. All right, so what we have understood, I hope that we have all understood about the user sessions and everything. No doubt over here, right? Right. So let's go ahead and think about how to go ahead and implement the Google Analytics on your own blog or websites and everything. So this is our practical assignment right now. But before I go ahead and get into that, let's go ahead and think about a few situations, okay? I go to flipkart.com page A from Chrome at 1 p.m. Then page B from Chrome at 1:10 p.m. Then page C at 2 p.m. Page D at say 3 p.m. Then E at 3:15 p.m. Okay. Now tell me how many hits in total, how many users, and how many sessions. Okay, 5 hits. Absolutely correct. 1 user, absolutely right. And sessions, how many sessions? 3 sessions. Fantastic, guys. Okay. Now, how many hits in session 1? Absolutely. Similarly, how many hits in session 2? How many hits in session 3? 2. Great. Now, here's the thing. Any session with only one hit is known as a bounce. Any session which has only one hit is known as a bounce. How many bounces do you see over here in this data? 1. Absolutely correct. Now let's go and talk about bounce rate. What is bounce rate? Total bounces divided by total sessions multiplied by 100. So which means 1 divided by 3 into 100, which means 33.3%. Does it make sense to everyone? Thanks, Priyanka. So there would be a lot of people who think bounce is dependent upon time. If somebody leaves the website within first 5 seconds, 10 seconds, no. Bounce is any session with only one hit. And in present case, there has been only one bounce and 33% of bounce rate. Make sense to all? Any question over here? Super. Now tell me, high bounce rate is good or bad for you? Absolutely, it's extremely bad. Have you ever heard about something called hunting and farming? In terms of marketing, business development, okay. Before I go ahead and look into that, let me just go ahead and talk a bit more about bounce. Siddharth, bounce is nothing but any session with only one hit. You understood? 5 hits are over here. Five hits, 3 sessions. This you understood? Now, you understand that there would be there are 2 hits in session 1, 1 hit in session 2, 2 hits in session 3. This is understood, Siddharth? I'll come back to that, Avinash, in just a minute. So see, session 3 is what? It starts at 3 p.m. till 3:15 p.m. Right? How many hits do you see over here, Siddharth? 2. How many sessions do you see over here which has only one hit? How many sessions over here with only one hit? 1. Any session with only one hit is also known as a bounce. So how many bounces over here? How many bounces over here, Siddharth? 1. That is session number 2 is a bounce. Everything else is a normal session, right, Siddharth? Bounce rate is total number of bounces divided by total number of sessions into 100. So 1
divided by 3 into 100. That is 33.33%. Make sense? Now, high bounce rate, of course, is bad for the business. Why is it so bad for the business? Let's go ahead and understand that. In any business development, there are two kinds of ways that you can actually go ahead and expand your business. That is hunting and farming. What is hunting? Hunting is more business through new customers. When you acquire new customers, that is hunting. And farming is more business through existing customers. When a person is already your customer and you do cross sell and upsell. Do you all understand cross sell and upsell? When you do more business with existing customers, that is farming. When you go ahead and acquire new customers, that is hunting. So tell me, what is more difficult, hunting or farming? What do you think would be more difficult? I know Avinash would be knowing, right? Avinash, do you have hunting and farming targets? Both. So hunting can be 72% more expensive than farming. Getting new customers is extremely difficult. Right? So bounce is like you got somebody walking in your store. Somebody came into your store but did not like what he or she saw. That's why he or she did not interact with anyone, did not look into any product, but just left. Right? This is what a bounce would be. You came to a site, you did not like what you see, and you leave. That is a bounce. Right, guys? Extremely bad for the business. And we have to go ahead and understand that in digital marketing, all these things are extremely important. Let me give you an example. First of all, tell me something. How long are you willing to wait for a website to load, for a website to open, before you click on the refresh button or go to a different website? Before you lose your patience. 2 seconds, microseconds. Siddharth, what's up with that? Immediate, Avinash. Okay. Anyone else? Wow, this is the most impatient group that I have ever come across. Siddharth, what happened to you? You know what was Gautam Buddha's real name, Siddharth? That was one Siddharth, epitome of patience, and this is new Siddharth, microseconds. What's up with that, man? So, all jokes apart, yes, new generation Siddharth. True. The patience of people is very low. Current industry standard is 3 to 4 seconds for a web page to load, else people would move. And this, of course, threshold is falling day by day. So if we are not able to go ahead and showcase the products that people like within first 3 to 4 seconds itself, people would leave. Also tell me something. Suppose you want to buy a bottle of Coke. You go to a store to buy a bottle of Coke and the storekeeper tells you that they are out of Coke. What would you do? You want to buy a bottle of Coke. Go to a store, the storekeeper tells you that they're out of Coke. What are you going to do next? Buy from another store. Go to another store. Great, super. Tell me something, all of you guys who are going to another store, you guys are not from Delhi, right? You know what is the biggest problem of Delhi? I mean, the biggest is of course Kejriwal, but the second biggest problem of Delhi. Parking. Parking is the single biggest problem of Delhi. Yes, Sumita, traffic and parking. You know how middle class India has two kinds of clothes? One for casual wear, second for party wear. I don't know whether you are middle class India or not, but this is how I still have my clothes. Party wear clothes, regular wear clothes.
Similarly, Delhi is populated by Punjabis, and you know what is, and I'm a Punjabi as well, by the way. So for Delhiites, for Punjabis, there are two kinds of cars. One, regular car that we will go for, which we will take for shopping, for going to office, college, and all that. And second kind of a car that we will only take out either for cleaning or second, either to go to family functions. Right. One, Swift to go for go to office, and second, Mitsubishi Outlander to go for parties. This is how it is, right? Same in US. Good. You have Punjabi culture in US as well. And so what it means is that every family is having at least two cars. So every night we fight for parking spot. Every single night. We can even kill for parking. You know, there's a joke in Delhi. If your daughter falls, if your daughter is hurt, you will tell her, it's okay, baby. Even if you have fallen, it's okay. You will get better. But if somebody touches your car, you are ready to go ahead and kill for that. So your gaddi is more important than your gooddi, right? So this is how bad things are in Delhi. So there is absolutely no way that I'm going to park my car in front of a store and the storekeeper tells me that they are out of coke and I'm going to take out my car from the parking, hunt for next parking spot, go for park my car over there and ask for another bottle of coke. I would rather go ahead and buy Pepsi, buy RC Cola. I'm ready to go ahead and drink a rat poison if I have to, but I cannot go ahead and take risk with my parking. I know US is much more, so they value their goodie more than gaddi, but uh, who the hell cares about passion, Avinash? It's about parking. You have no idea how important is parking spot in Delhi. So all jokes apart, the idea is that you have actually invested some amount of time, some amount of effort in real world, right? When you go to a store, when you go to a mall, you have invested some amount of time, some amount of effort. But when you are actually shopping online, what do? You are being a couch potato probably, watching TV and side by side going through Flipkart, going through Snapdeal or Amazon, and then order while actually having your dinner. This is what we all do. So the investment of time, effort is minimal. It's very easy for me to go ahead and switch from one shop to the other just by going from one browser to the other, from one window to the other. Whereas switching store from one shop to the other in case of real world is much more time intensive. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of energy from my part. So that is why in digital world, there is absolutely no loyalty. Make sense to all? Loyalty is low and patience is low. And this is a very, very lethal combination. This is why it's extremely important for us to know about all these kind of metrics. How many people are bouncing? What is my bounce rate? What number of users coming on my website? What number of sessions coming on my website? The average time spent. All this becomes an extremely important parameter for me to go and understand what my customers do want on my digital platform. Does it make sense to all? Yes, please go ahead, Siddharth. Let me know. Absolutely right. So and yes, there would be some people who are loyal to particular kind of a brand. They don't want to go ahead and change the brand at all, no matter what. For example, there are some Coke lovers, and I would understand that. There would be some, and you know who are those Coke lovers? The ones who actually like Jack Daniels or Crown. So Scotch lovers and Coke lovers. So no offense to all those people who don't have whiskey with their Coke, but what's the point of having Coke if you don't? Lassi Verka, right? Uh, there are people who like Mother Dairy ice cream. There are people who like Maggie, no matter what, how many kind of noodles that you actually bring. They always would go and like Maggie. So all respect to them. But there are most of the people, they are not as brand conscious as we would want them to be, at least in digital world. Maybe in real world, yes. In offline world, yes. They would still go ahead and make an effort for their favorite brand. But in digital world, people don't really care about brands. People don't really care about Snapdeals. People don't really care about Amazon. People don't even care about Adidas and Nike. They are ready to go ahead and buy Puma and Reebok if they are getting better deal, if they are getting better product. Because the investment of time and effort is minimal. Make sense to all? So all these things become very important for us to go and understand how our audience is behaving on our digital world so that we can optimize their experience, we can increase their brand loyalty, we can understand the gap areas, and we can go ahead and make uh, a better experience for them and hence better conversion rate for us. All clear? Great. Now I have an option, either go ahead and tell you about this. Give me just a minute. Let me just see if the next case study can be solved easily or not. Okay. Let me go ahead and give you another case study, okay? You know what? It won't be fair to give you case study right now. You need to have access. Let me do this then. I would rather go ahead and tell you where to go ahead and place the code on the website. So what we are going to do next is all of you will have to go ahead and create an account on Google Analytics. What you would do is you will actually go to analytics.google.com. You will create your account over there. Okay? And create a blog on blogger.com. This is what you will do as your homework. I'm not going to ask you to link them together. I will go ahead and tell you later on how to go ahead and do that. But these are the couple of things that you'll have to go ahead and do as your homework. In next class, we will go ahead and see how to go ahead and link them. But just to give you an idea, this is the code that we will have to go ahead and put in our website on our digital platforms to go ahead and ensure that our Google Analytics goes ahead and tracks everything. Now let me just go ahead and give you a link. Give me just 1 minute.
I would want all of you to go ahead and visit this link that I have just provided. Can you please click on that? Now see, as you are coming on this website, this is my blog that I told you about. You see the number of users that I see on my report. These are the real-time users that I can see. I can see that there is somebody from Milton, US. I can see that there are people who are coming from Jaipur, New Delhi. There is somebody from Kolkata. Oh, you cannot see it on my screen? Sorry. My screen was paused. Can you see it on my screen now? There are 7 users. There are some people, there's somebody who's coming from Milton, US. And then there is somebody who's coming from Jaipur, New Delhi. There is somebody who's coming from Bhayandar. That's, I believe, somewhere near Mumbai. There's somebody who's coming from Kolkata. Right? So I can see all these people who are coming from different places. And in fact, as I go from one page to the other, let's say, go from one page to the other, and I can see over here that I can see where people are going. There's somebody on article 8.html. I go ahead and click on one article. It will again go ahead and show me where people are going. See, there's somebody who has clicked on welcome to world of analytics. So I can see how people are going from one page to the other and how they are actually going ahead and looking into the data. And as you see 7 users over here, let me just go ahead and open this Internet Explorer. Since I'm coming from a different browser, it has added one more user over here. Do you see this? Because from a new browser, it will give me a new client ID. And hence a new visitor, a new user would come up over here. As I move over here, I can actually go ahead and see where this person is going as well. I go ahead and click on this article, and I can see over here that somebody has clicked on this particular article. Make sense to all? So this is how I can actually go ahead and monitor real time as well. How my users are coordinating, how they are actually going ahead and looking into my entire website, and I can go ahead and see if I have to go ahead and take some action on it. Any question over here, guys? Pretty powerful engine. Priyanka, I will tell you about it in our next session. I don't want to go ahead and start something right now because it will take me 20 minutes at least to go ahead and tell you about this. At least. And I would want to go and answer all your questions. So therefore, I will tell you about it next time, where to go ahead and place the code, okay? Guys, here's the feedback link. If you can please go ahead and put the feedback over here. Absolutely right, Siddharth. We are using UTM parameters. Thank you so much for that. And how do we use it? How do we create it? We will do all these things. Next session is going to be pretty interesting when I will go ahead and take a deeper dive in web analytics. And we will go ahead and talk about our campaign strategies, our channels, our marketing channels, our attributions, and everything like that. If you can please go ahead and put the feedback over there. So this link is for feedback. If you can please put feedback of the session today. Absolutely right, Siddharth. Thank you so much, Sajan. Please let me know what worked for you, what did not work for you. If there's anything that I can do to go ahead and improvise, I would be more than happy to go ahead and do that. If you think that we need to go ahead and do some specific case studies of some specific industries, please do let me know and I will do that. I will go ahead and send across the notepad to all of you with all the details, what you will be expected to do by next week, and we will take it from there, okay? Thank you so much, Priyanka. I really hope you enjoyed this session, not just learned, but also had fun. You can see from my YouTube recommendations that I'm a guy with cheap sense of humor. So I really dislike, I hate those sessions where when people are not laughing and people are not enjoying themselves. All right, guys, you all take care. Enjoy rest of your weekend, and we'll see you on next Saturday, right? And do party today. Just don't drink and drive, okay? And all those Coke fans, enjoy it responsibly. Bye, guys.